G'day Pickleball family. First thing to know, as shared on thedinkpickleball.com, city to require foam balls for pickleball, reduce noise. Pickleball noise. It's the topic discussed ad nauseum across the world of pickle lately. One community in Georgia, USA, has escalated its efforts to solve the pervasive issue. Avondale Estates, a city in Georgia, is implementing new regulations for its pickleball courts to address noise concerns and manage non-resident usage. The city plans to require the use of foam balls, which are quieter than traditional plastic balls, to reduce noise levels that have been bothering nearby residents. Additionally, non-residents will be required to pay a fee to use the courts, though the exact amount has not yet been determined. Key changes: 1. Mandatory foam balls. All players will be required to use foam balls on the courts to minimise noise. 2. Non-resident fee. A fee structure for non-residents will be implemented to help manage court usage. Reasons for changes: noise complaints. Residents living near the courts have complained about the noise generated by pickleball play. Increased popularity. The sport's growing popularity has led to more non-residents using the courts. The city is still working on finalising the details of these new regulations, including how to enforce the foam ball requirement and the specific fee structure for non-residents. Could this become commonplace as the sport continues its aggressive growth? We can only hope not. Thanks so much for making it this far into the update. Please be sure to hit subscribe and like and comment so this and future episodes can be found by and shared with other fellow pickleballers. Second thing to know, as shared on the Dink Pickleball newsletter, new provisional serve rule met with pushback. A surprising announcement surfaced last weekend revealing a new provisional serve rule for the UPA, United Pickleball Association, parent company of the PPA Tour and MLP, Major League Pickleball events. The rule will be tested for 60 days, but might not make it through the week with the initial feedback. Here's what's included in the provisional rule. The ball must be released downward from the waist area. A drop from the hand may not be tossed upwards, but can incur minimal and natural lift, up to 1 ball length. The swing on the serve must be underhand, around 45 degrees or less, and the paddle must clearly travel in a low to high direction. Serves where either the ball is tossed too high on the release or the swing was not clearly in a low to high motion will first result in a service warning and reserve. Each player is allowed 1 service warning per match. Subsequent violations will result in a fault. The timing of this announcement is no coincidence after the serve drama last week in Las Vegas at the PPA Las Vegas event. One big issue exposed in Vegas was that questionable serves resulted in a reserve instead of a fault. The new rule corrects that flaw and limits players to 1 warning per match. On the other hand, the new rule is no easier for referees to enforce. It puts pressure on the refs to determine 1 ball length and around 45 degrees in real time. It's no secret that people are going to resist change. But as Zane Navratil and Thomas Shields pointed out on the Pickle Pod podcast, isn't experimenting a good thing? Experimentation like this might be necessary to create the most competitive, suitable for TV product. For those of you following along at home, this is the 3rd service rule change of the year. In January, the PPA Tour experimented with a rule that required players to drop the ball from below the top of the hip instead of tossing it into the air. Last month, the Tour reverted back to USAP or USA Pickleball serve rules, allowing players to toss the ball. Starting this week, players will again have to drop the ball from their waist area instead of tossing it into the air. FYI, this only applies to UPA pro-level events. Third thing to know, as shared on thedinkpickleball.com, betting on pickleball is back in the US, kind of. Betting on PPA Tour matches has slowly rolled out over the last year. Last summer, lines were available on FanDuel Sportsbook in select US states and for select events. A major flaw with betting in the past would be that lines would not become available to bet on until minutes before the match. Even if a match was available to bet on, it was like playing whack-a-mole trying to catch the bet in between being available or suspended every 30 seconds. We can dive further in on issues we've encountered, but we will save that for another day. Today is about capitalising on the open lines, stacking up wins and gambling on pickleball, responsibly, of course. Within certain betting limits and on a select number of matches, betting on pickleball in the USA is back. Betting limits. Betting limits are fairly strict for action. One parlay had a $52.50 limit. Weird, and another capped at $125. At first, this was upsetting, but it actually saved a big loss to start the day. Congrats to Jack Foster for busting up the first parlay of the day. This one looked like a lock. It would have been a big bet, probably 10 units. Luckily, Fanatics shut that down and set the limit at 2.5 units. And again, congrats, Jack Foster. That is a big win. After meeting the limit on the parlay, more money was placed on Jack Sock as a straight bet, which lost an additional 1.5 units. Ouch. It took the ladies to get things rolling in a positive direction. A total of 4 units spread on this partly and moneyline bets on the individual matches helped push us back to neutral. Thank you, Jeannie Bouchard and Millie Rain, for getting us back on track. Singles was pretty much wrapped up for the day, so let's move on to doubles. As soon as the mixed doubles lines dropped, this 3-leg parlay looked too tempting. Again, we went for the 10-unit big bet, but Fanatics forced us to settle for the 6 units. Let's hope the favourites take care of business and put us into positive territory for the day. Live betting, the secret sauce in past experience is taking advantage of the live bets. You can get great odds if a favourite gets down early. Always keep an eye out for a top seed losing game 1 and try to time the dip if at all possible. 2 perfect examples. Riley Newman, Elise Jones dropped game 1 and moved from minus 670 pre-match to plus 110 after game 1. Rachel Rohrbacher, Federico Staksrud were minus 250 in this example, so this actually feels a little bit low. The line was available for plus 165 during game 2. Men and women's doubles, we can kick off men's and women's doubles with a massive favourites parlay. The odds are lower than expected, but why not sprinkle a little there on plus 2,208 odds? Fanatics let us drop 1.5 units there. Where can you bet? Check out the Fanatics Sportsbook in the USA to see if pickleball is available to bet on in your US state. A quick search shows 22 states where the app is available, including Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Vermont, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wyoming. As always, please gamble responsibly. Paddles up.